But I love it. I love being a part of a cast.
Because I know rehearsals can be dysfunctional.
Sure. And everybody is such a pro that nobody was like, oh, you're 3 minutes late or you're not off. Like Christina said, I don't care when you get off book because I know you will before opening night. I'm not going to, be the taskmaster for this, which I appreciate,
Now, are all the directors affiliated with the studio?
I don't think Cara is, but Christina Hart and Jack
They're
Keller.
with the writers unit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful place. Did you guys do any work on it?
No, we haven't. But I wanted to mention the last time I was here, you talked a lot about Salome Jens. Right. And I was at the studio one morning and someone introduced me to her.
I did.
She had also seen that diva.
I introduced you. And
you did. And you said, this is Salome. And she said, oh, I remember a scene you did. And I think you'd be right for a reading of one of the plays we're developing.
Right.
So that's coming up too, also.
Yeah, because she's the one that always talks about, her and Barbara Baines, how important it is. Why are you saying this today?
Yes.
Salome is my idol, and she's one of the, if you get a chance to study with Salome or work with her, please, you can't find anybody better.
I'm excited to really get to know her.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant when it comes to the work. It's 25 years with Lee. She was. So when you listen to Salome, you're listening to Lee. In a sense.
Yes. And what is the work? That's where it got down to with this play for me. I really had to. I stopped everything. Errands aren't being done, paperwork's not being done, bills are being paid. That's it. And it was now I get to plug in and do what I love to do.
That's what I wanted to find out. How did you find? Get into this character?
I just keep finding ways that what she's saying, I just keep finding ways for
Go back to that.
I know, because we talked about this the last
Why?
time
Do you realize why that's so important?
Well, because I think you're reading the script, and that's a she. And once you incorporate everything into, this is how this relates to me, and this is what I'm saying here,
if I were the
character. Me.
Mm-hmm. If I were the character,
yes.
How would I say it?
And then it becomes me. Right. And then really, I can say everything that is written there to be said, but I have to have my own conversation with the audience every night that's different behind those lines or using those lines.
Is there a technique you use to keep it fresh?
I stand backstage and I panic.
Oh, really?
No, right before I'm going on stage, I have my little iPod on, my little, and I dance. I'm a dancer, and I dance backstage.
Yeah.
And I just, and then, the light above me goes out, and I push stop on my thing and set it down and walk on and just start. And to start, for me, what I've enjoyed about the studio is that I'm learning a lot about breath and what is the breath of the scene. And so my first thing that I do, because I start the show in a monologue sitting in a chair, is I take a breath and I exhale.
Right.
And then I start.
Yeah.
So I think it's important.
It is to breathe and take that breath and let it all in and let it happen. Yeah.
And just start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were talking about Salome, and you'll like the idea. She studied with Martha Graham. So, and you can always see that in the movement. I watched you walk. You can always tell a dancer. They have this wonderful, beautiful movement on stage.
You.
Well, no, it's the dance. And it really comes across. All those, it's something that's not being taught today.
Yeah, movement. Well, I don't think actors today, unless you are guided into a program that's comprehensive by someone who knows what's happening, you're really floundering, and you're responsible for all of your training. I'm going back and reading the life histories of Betty Davis and Lauren Bacall, and wow, when you got in the studio system, they taught you how to be photographed, and they did your hair, and they did, people
everything.
Did you? And as an actor today, I'm responsible.
Right.
I had to figure out how to get my hair like this, and how to make sure I'm taking makeup classes, and if I don't get up and go dancing once or twice a week, no one's,
Today they don't want to do that. They think they're going to be. We talked about it off camera, and you got reality stars who are walking around who believe they're movie stars. People, and they have no training.
And that's not acting.
No, it's not.
It's not acting at all.
You know, they're just being assholes.
Well, and what's amazing
That's
to me...
what gets them on TV.
Right, and the conflict of it all.
Yeah.
And what's amazing to me is how comfortable they are in front of the camera doing these things. And for an actor, I was speaking with another acting coach of mine, Elizabeth Gamza, who I love, who basically said to me, you know, as actors, we want to put ourselves out there, but also we sometimes want to hide.
Oh, very.
So,
It's
right?
the greatest place in the world to hide is being an actor. Because you see the character, you don't see Cindy.
And yet I have to go on stage and reveal. And I understand that it's not me, but it is me.
Yes.
I am having to, you know, I think acting is healing. And why was I given this particular project, this particular role, these particular issues to explore and have to purge, essentially, every night on stage?
Yeah.
You know.
But it's such a great, you're playing the character, you're not playing Cindy.
No, I'm not. And yet, in order to play a character, I have to know what slice of myself am I sharing with this piece,
Yeah.
and what am I healing?
You have all of these things that we have to learn, the techniques. I mean, the classes that you get at the studio are fantastic.
Sure, they're amazing.
You know,
yeah.
the sense memory and.
Sense memory and.
Do you use that? Does that come in handy? Do you know?
You know, I go, okay, so she talks, my character's is coming back into her family after being gone for so long and really working on herself a lot. And she's coming back into a family that essentially didn't even know she existed. And she's having to come back and say, I was there. I do remember these things. I did exist then. And so I go into my life. Well, where am I? You know, we were talking off camera about Facebook. I joined Facebook. And all of a sudden, all of these people are coming back into my life. But I'm not the same girl I was at 17, 18. And so you have to go, okay, however we were back then is there, and now this is who I am, and let's reconnect this way. And that's sort of what I'm doing in this play as well. So there has to be that vulnerability.
Yeah.
There has to be that rawness. So every night you're asking, how do I find that? I stand and say, what am I wanting to reconnect to today?
Yeah.
Even if it's, I don't feel nervous. Why I felt nervous opening night, but I don't feel nervous tonight. How can I? And then there are tricks. Then you go to technique.
Yes.
Oh, well, nervousness, shallow breathing. You know, the director was telling me, you know, shallow breathing makes you look a little more nervous.
Yes.
You know, so there's a trick. And by the time you're done with that, you're a little lightheaded and you are a little nervous.
Yes.
So
Really?
there's where a technique can launch you,
Yes.
but you know that.
Well, I don't, but the audience needs to know that. That's the reason why we talk about it. Because it is so important that people understand that. I mean, that's what technique is for. You might not need it, but it's there when you do need it.
If I need a tool, there it
Right.
is.
And there's so many actors don't have that.
You know, when I go to an acting class or when I rent a DVD of a movie, I've been renting all of the Academy Award-winning performances of women for the years on Netflix, and I always go back and rewatch it with the director's notes, because it's amazing to hear these directors speak about the pieces and the attention to detail that was.
It's so important.
You know, what did they want there and what came across?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.